Is it running? I
Says
think
live.
so. Can you guys hear us? We are live. I'm trying something new here. Devin is in. Can you hear us, Devin? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't see the normal. First things first. Okay, yes.
Okay.
Nice.
First things first. We're still kind of like collectively trying to get Larry in here, but we're talking interference sports. I'm Nick.
I'm Eric.
And thank you for joining us. First things first, where's Gary and Dennis? I'm sure they'll show up, brother. They should be here.
If not, I'm going to have some strong words for them. They were looking for you last week, Devin.
Jeez. All right. So we're trying to get Larry Dixon on the show, and I'm trying something different here. So bear with us, but I didn't want to continue to be late, so we're just kind of coasting. If you want to start by talking about something so I can hash up this like beginning part.
Yep, can do.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into some rugby since I didn't watch the Pro Bowl. And
yeah. Did anybody even watch that? I mean, I know that the AFC trounced the NFC. But I watched some of the highlights for like 2 minutes just because I thought maybe it'd be worth talking about. But when you watch the offensive line and like when you watch somebody get sacked in that, it just totally defeats all the purpose. So
right.
Pro Bowl, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, on the upside, you did at least get to see Jason Witten handle a trophy.
But he broke it.
Jeez,
bro.
Oh, yeah.
Sea Wolves. Yep. Yeah, I was going to wear my shirt today, too, but I had so much stuff going on, man. So I just rocked the Thunderbird sweatshirt.
The only reason I wore it is because I've been wearing it, well, pretty much ever since. So.
Right? Okay.
So, I guess when you're ready, we'll talk about the Seawolves game. But
okay.
I wanted to talk a little bit about USA Rugby because there was a tournament in New Zealand over the weekend, and this was a sevens tournament, and the Team USA, they got into the championship game for the third tournament in a row, and they placed second for the third tournament in a row, and they lost to Fiji. They actually didn't lose. They got shut out 38-0.
That's brutal. That's rough.
But in order to get there, they did beat Scotland 19-14 in the quarterfinals, and they beat New Zealand 17-7 in the semifinals. And before that, they played 3 other matches, and I don't know who they played, but they won all 3 of those as well. So
that's always good.
Yeah. And so now, in the finals, they played Fiji, and like I said, they lost 38-0.
Yeah, rugby, Brian.
And they played, the last time they played Fiji was in the Cape Town 7 tournament, and they also lost to Fiji there. But they beat them in Dubai the month before that.
That's always positive.
Yeah. So right now, Fiji and USA Eagles are tied for number 1 in the world. And that's a big deal because in June,
USA.
There's going to be a tournament in Paris. And after that, the top 4 teams in rugby will be automatically qualified for the Olympics in Tokyo in 2020.
Hey, there we go.
So if they can keep on this pace, then they're going to the Olympics for sure.
That's legit. I like that. Yeah, dude. I want to. So, what's the difference between the 7s and the 15s? Obviously, the numbers, but like, why does it make just because like it's harder to get it down the side, like the line, and then down the field when you have 15 guys? Is that why they consider it the more skillful one?
Well, that, and also they're in 7s, obviously having half as many people, you have to pick up different positions. So you're not going to have a guy who just plays fullback or just plays wing, or
so more diversity, basically.
Right. And that's where a lot of people kind of, especially when they first start getting into rugby, get a little confused and think that the 7s are like a AAA team for the 15s team, and in a lot of senses that is correct, but it's not really. A lot of people that really follow rugby think that 7s are actually more difficult because you have to be
more diverse.
You have to be more diverse, and you have to pay more attention to stuff that you can kind of get away with more in 15s, mistake wise, than you can in 7s.
Okay.
And it is still played on the same amount of field, so you have half as many people in the same size pitch, but field.
Okay. Justin says, video shared, my dudes. All right. Let's take a moment and appreciate the handlebars on the dude's face.
Thanks, Brian.
Dennis says, hey, guys. Hey, Dennis.
What's up,
How's
Dennis?
it going? Thanks for coming back. I don't think you guys are live on TIS. We'll be doing that next week.
My camera screwed up. We tried it last week, and it worked, and then that's why we were 10 minutes late today. We were trying to screw around with the camera.
So that's why we were late today, unfortunately. There's your guys' typical banter. Where's Gary? Crying because KC lost. What's up, Sturdy? What's up, dude? All right, so since we started late, I am just kind of rolling with the punches here, but are you still talking rugby?
I do have more rugby to talk about.
Go for it.
All right.
As long as it's not the Seawolves, so that we can talk about that collectively.
Nope. Okay. This is still USA Rugby. So, more on the 7s. Last week, I talked about how the women's Eagles 7s had announced their residency program. Well, this week, the men's Eagles 7s announced the same roster for residency. It includes 24 athletes that are going to train full-time at the Olympic facilities in California, I believe. And 21 of them are going to be part of the senior Eagles team. Has nothing to do with age. It just means they've played on a national team before, and 3 of them haven't, and they're still playing for college teams. So that'll be exciting. So just like last week, they'll be eligible for being on either 15s or the 7s team, and also eligible for all of the tournaments and the Pan Am and all that good stuff. So
okay.
And the last thing I have in USA rugby news is this coming weekend, there's going to be another tournament in Sydney, Australia, for those of you who don't own a globe. And the men's Eagles 7s are going to play France, Kenya, and Canada. And the women's Eagles 7s will play China, Spain, and Australia. So It's going to be another good weekend of rugby.
I like it. So until I figure out, do we have Larry in the chat yet? Are you here? I don't know if you guys can see. There we go. That way he can see us. But I don't know if I sent you an invite. I don't know if you can see it, Larry, but we're up there. But let me go ahead and do some plugs real quick because I got some plugs to do. Again, I'm Nick. This is Eric. Together, we're talking Interference Sports. Two guys just talking sports. We're partnered with the Game Changer Sports Network, trying to make some waves in the sports world with our sheer honest opinion. Always welcoming new people to our lovely content and covering sports from professional sports all the way down to your sister's little league. Talk about everything, dude. I'm so down for just talking about sports. But thank you for your guys' viewership.
Except for college football. Let's get that straight right out of the gate. So
and probably soccer.
Yeah,
probably soccer.
I just can't get into it. I tried.
Anyone who's in the Seattle Everett area and you're looking for a great place to get some coffee with a great atmosphere, go to Tabby's Coffee attached to the Everett Library. Tell them Nick and Eric sent you from Talking Interference Sports. They will hook you up. And if you're not watching us on the Game Changer Sports Network, and you're watching us on other platforms that I've loaded this on, go to their Facebook, go to their Twitter, go to their Instagram, drop a like, drop a follow. Go, and we got Larry. Hold on one second, buddy. And drop a like, drop a follow. And these guys write some amazing articles. And check out their website. All these guys type up some amazing articles. Read all that stuff up. We're partnered with these guys, and we wouldn't be here where we're at right now without them. So thanks, guys. And so big shout out to them. We got our former guest, Jeff. He started his own podcast. It's called the Jeff's Basement, and he started the Seattle area podcast community. Go check that out. Go like and follow all of that from guys. If you like rock, like Billy Rock type of stuff too, go like Rockcast or like heavy metal type of guys. Go check that out. And if you are watching us on the Game Changer Sports Network, go follow all of our pages, Twitter, Instagram. We're Talking Interference Sports. All right. Oh, and sorry, one last thing. If you guys go to a sporting event or say you want to go see like Blake Lively or Taylor Swift or whatever, go to SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek.com and enter the promo code GCSN, and you'll receive $20 off of your purchase. Thanks to watching Talking Interference Sports.
Yeah.
All right. So, Larry, can you hear us?
Get them deals.
Larry, can you hear us? Oh, no. I thought I had it. I don't know, man. Rugby blows. They're still waiting on soccer. Man, I like rugby. Rugby's fun. Let me see if I can't try and get this in there. Soccer is a sport, broski. Can we talk about my paper football championship? I'm down for that.
My dude, they've been playing soccer. Soccer's been big in the U.S. for the past 20 years. I don't know where you've been. Open your eyes. Will Ferrell made a movie about it. It wasn't good, but it was a movie.
That's very true, man. So I'm wondering, since I don't have...
And if you don't believe that soccer's big, come to Seattle and see everybody walking around in Sounders FC gear.
It's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Jeff's Basement. Go check out Jeff's Basement. All right. I'm going to call Larry. I can't get that thing to work. He's still there. Can you hear us, man? Can you hear us? Well, I don't know why I don't have audio. Can you hear me? Can you hear us?
He looks as confused as we do.
He does, man. Hey, dude, give me a call.
All right. Well, while Nick's trying to do this, I'm gonna run down
Sorry, guys.
the top 25 in college wrestling in case someone has
Hey, dude, I don't know what's going
any
on.
smart ass marks for that.
Let me watch out.
Oh, yep.
I don't know what's going on with it. I can't get the audio to run.
All right, so I'm just gonna run through the top 25. So number 1 is Penn State with a 9-0 record. Previously, they were number 1. Number 2, Oklahoma State at 10-0. They were number 3. So unlike last week, we do have some shakeups in top 10. Number 3, Iowa at 10-0.
Cool.
They were number 4 already.
All right, so we do have Larry now, but it's only going to be audio. So.
Oh, all right.
All right. So finish what you were talking about real quick.
Oh, no,
Larry.
it's
Okay, Larry, thanks for coming on the show. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on, but I will hash it out for the next time you come on if you decide you want to come on.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm come back on again. I love this stuff.
Awesome.
Right
So, if you guys don't know who Larry Dixon is, he played for the Army West Point. He was a fullback for 4 seasons, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah. And my red shirt. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I got to ask immediately. We're just going to go ahead and start asking you some questions, and then we'll just roll into like the rest of the show. So I got to ask, what inspired you to do a military service over a career in football?
That's kind of tough. I mean, in college, in high school, looking at colleges, I just really wanted to play football. Like, I wasn't really thinking about the military aspect. I didn't know much about West Point. And then I got recruited, and through the process, like, it was just really good. Like, there's a really good connection with me and Coach Shields. And so I kind of just went there because it was just a great football place, and I wanted to be a part of it. And then once you're there, you kind of realize that you're a part of like a bigger team, and you always want to be a part of the team. And there's never anything wrong with serving your country. I get a lot from it, and I haven't been upset with it.
Absolutely, man. So I don't know if you knew, but I was in the Army for a little while. I used to tell the guys when we were watching like Army Navy games, I'd be like, I know that boy, I know that guy. So where are you at now? Are you LT for an active duty platoon? You're in fire support?
Yeah, well, I just finished hood, and then I'm PCSing. I'm going to captain's career course, and I promote to captain in like the middle of May. So then I'll be a captain, and then hopefully I'll be able to take over a company command wherever I go next.
That's fantastic, man.
Wow. Good
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the support.
Yep. So I saw an interview that you did where you said you were carrying around the Constitution on your person.
Yeah. That was a big thing in college. Yeah.
Okay. Do you still do that?
I don't actually. My pocket Constitution got so it was destroyed. Like, I had that through like field exercises, through everything, and so it was just mangled. And it finally broke down on me, and I never got another one. Honestly.
I feel it. Okay. All right. Do you want to?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with any of the guys that you played with, or the coaching staff at West Point?
Yeah, it's a pretty tight-knit group. So we after my junior year, we had a new coaching staff come in, and that's where Coach Monk and his staff came in, and like that's who's there now. And I still keep in touch with a lot of them. We talk pretty regularly. And then as far as the football team, we keep in touch. I talk to most of the guys. Like, I keep in touch. I talk to them almost monthly. At least, you have very tight-knit guys, but I talk to my best friends in the team almost every single day. And then being in the Army with a bunch of officers, like, you constantly see guys, like, you're just running to them in random places.
It's a small
world. I was
world.
in the middle of Europe, and I ran into one of my quarterbacks, and we just kind of happened to be in the same place at the same time. And it's just happenstance, but it's a lot how it works. And then you'll meet guys who you didn't play with, but they played football. So you just kind of have that connection. So it's been pretty cool. Just like
that is
how you
cool.
don't even you don't work to stay in touch, but you just kind of do.
Nice.
Yeah. That's legit, man. Yeah, no. So I know being in the military, like it's a small world. So I'm not surprised that you run into a whole bunch of the same people. Do you remember Jeff?
Who?
Jeff? Jeff
Coach
Hill?
Monken?
Jeff Hill?
Who?
Jeff
Oh,
Hill?
yeah, of course I remember Jeff Hill.
Jeff Hill
Yeah,
wants
of course I remember Jeff Hill.
Jeff Hill wants to know who's the best lineman in high school.
Who is obviously Jeff Hill.
Okay.
And you could hide behind him always. No one could find me behind him.
I know,
I'm
he's
like
a
5'2".
big dude. We had him on our show a little while ago, and I felt kind of small.
You felt small.
No, I saw that episode. I watched that entire thing.
So keeping up, do you keep up with any team that you, or do you still keep up with the team now that you're not playing anymore?
Yeah, West Point, yeah. I'm pretty much, during football season, like, I don't really get super emotional about NFL. Like, I love watching NFL. I don't get emotional. I really don't get emotional about college football, but 100% I get emotional about the Black Knights. So I watch every single game. Like, even over in Europe, they would come on at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and you just wake up, and then you go to the nearest TV, or you pull it up on your phone, and you just watch. Like,
I like it.
it runs pretty deep.
Does that translate to other sports, or is it just football?
I'm kind of a junkie, so like it translates all over the place. Like I watch football religiously, college and pros, and then basketball, a little bit of baseball towards like the World Series, but like at random times I'll just pick up on different fandoms. Like I got really big. Like we played FIFA all the time in college. Like that's my favorite video game. So like we started getting deeper and deeper and deeper into soccer.
I like it.
So
Okay.
it picks up.
All right. So you obviously said that you're emotional about it. How do you feel about?
Really big. We played FIFA all the time in college. And that's my favorite. What was that?
So I said I know that you're emotional about the Black Knights in general. How do you feel about the Army Navy games now? And how do you feel about the last 2 seasons?
I feel really good. I mean, like I said, like when Coach Monken got there, he told us, he's like, listen, we're going to be really good and we're going to win a lot of games. And he's like, you're going to want to be a part of it. And like from that day, you know, like you're like, okay, like I trust this guy. Like whatever he says, he's just going to make it work. And then, you know, we weren't able to win that game, so that was like disappointing, and that's going to be tough. But like I support that staff wholeheartedly. Like him, Coach Eternio, Coach Brent, like all of them are just great guys. And then they win, and then like you'll have people come up to you and be like, "Oh, I didn't know Army was going to be good this year." I'm just trying to tell you guys, like we're really good now, and I love watching. Like when we beat Houston 70-14, like people are freaking out. Like I knew it was going to be bad. I would have never called a 56-point win over Houston, but I knew we were going to win that game.
I like it. I like it. So it says you're very active in the gym. I see you like on social media posting a bunch of pictures of you in the gym and videos and all that stuff. Do you have any desire to continue your football career after your service is complete? Maybe coaching or strength training coaching?
I mean, I've always wanted to stick with football. Like football has always been near and dear. Like if I was able to come back and work in Seattle, it's something I'd always want to do is to help out the football team. Like whether it's in the weight room or on the football team, like I've stayed really close with the high school staff, and like close in the sense that I watch a lot of the games that the Trojans play, and then anytime that I'm at home, I try to sneak into the weight room, see them lift, see what they're doing, and I've been pretty close to the guys. Like I've lost touch. Like as you get older, you just have less in common with 18 years old than when I was 19. But other than that, like I try to stay real close. So I'd love to go back and at least help out in some capacity.
That would be cool, man. That would be cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What's his name? John Fullington. I don't know if you saw that, but he just left the NFL to come back and do some coaching at North Mason. That's why I came up with that question.
It was crazy because like we go way, like we played each other like in basketball, football, and we threw against each other in track. Like we're the same grade. I followed his career through Wazoo and everything, so I don't know if we're really good friends. But like when it popped up on my feed because it's like, you know, like I know him, so like obviously Google's watching me. And
right.
Like John Fulton returns to North Mason, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty dope. Like, I'm pumped that he had his time in the NFL, and I'm sure he'll love it, and they'll love it. Like he's gonna bring a lot of good talent. Like he's a good competitor.
I like it. Oh yeah.
over the course of your football career, what stood out the most to you?
Oh, as far as what?
Like standout moments. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, you broke the West Sound rushing record. I mean,
when you look back, I mean, is there something you just see and you're like, I'm real proud of that?
I mean, as far as like proud moments, like there's always things you remember. Like it's cool to reflect on like a lot of like what I was able to accomplish like now, because like when I was there, like even when I was in high school, like I focused so much on playing college football that like I never sat there and enjoyed it. Like we'd have a great game, and like I remember we blew up Port Angeles, and like the only thing I could think of is just like, well, what is everybody else in the country doing? Because I gotta beat them out for a scholarship, and then like in college, like you're just like, okay, well, I gotta be the best in the country. I gotta try to get to the pros. So it's you never realize like how much it's all gonna mean to you. Like I don't really remember so much like the yards, the games. Like I just remember like the hard games. Like I remember when I was a sophomore and we played. I remember it was a Thursday game. It's out of the blue. Like no one's there because it's Thursday. Like like there's an away game. There's like 12 people in the stands.
Right.
We play Peninsula, who are the defending defending league champs, and they get up to a quick early like 21-0 lead. And then like I remember coming back and beating them 27-21, and like that's by far like the best game in high school. And then like I remember like in college, like when we beat Air Force, like like that, like those are just the moments, like those games are everything, honestly.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Who can you say was the most influential for your success or in your football career to you? I mean, be your mom or your coach or anybody.
I mean, it's like if you like, it's my mom. Like, cause like I've had great coaches, I have great teammates, but like she was just like she's a single mom. Like, there's a lot going against her at times. Like she could have got down, she could have not worked as hard as she could, and she didn't have to give as much as she had to. But like she was just the kind of woman who just like did what she had to do, pushed through, like get it done. And then like I remember in high school, she was like, "Listen, I'm not gonna miss any of your games, none of your track meets," and like she just did everything. And then she was at every single one of my games. So like when you see that kind of work ethic, like it's just like, I can't complain about this. Like I gotta work harder, because like I mean she's putting in this amount of work, and I'm just playing sports and going to school. Like there's more to give. So I mean definitely her.
Wow,
I like it.
That's an awesome influence.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
So, I mean, I don't have any other further questions. You want to just keep rolling on the rest of the show with us, unless you got something.
Well, I would like to ask, because I watched this documentary a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I've been trying to remember the name of it all day, and I can't. But basically, it's about youth athletes in America now, and how a lot of people or a lot of kids are getting passed over because they weren't able to, or their parents couldn't afford to play, select ball or go to, whatever training camp, over the summer, that was extra, not just through, parks or, a school team or something like that. And I'm just kind of curious on how you feel about that.
So, like, I think it's an interesting – so that's why I've loved football, right? Because, like, in, like, basketball, soccer, baseball, lacrosse, all sports, like, you can spend copious amounts of money to literally get your son or daughter at different events and get them in front of other coaches. In football, you really can't do that. Like, you're kind of seeing it with the 7-on-7 camps, and that helps a little bit. Like, it's going to show you who's the athlete. It's going to show you, like, who can do what. But then, like, it's hard to compare it against, like, in pads, hit. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, you got to be able to hit and you got to be able to run in pads. I've always appreciated that. But I think that's the reason why I like, social media is, like, a weird thing. Because, like, before, like, in that gap where, like, select tournaments became everything and, like, social media becoming big, like you saw that gap where, like, more exposure led to just more things happening. But now on social media, you can really get a campaign going to, like, get yourself out there, get in touch with coaches, and, like, be your own recruiter. But I think like the way I've seen that, like you see kids that want it because you'll see them come out of small towns and they have to be their own recruiter and get themselves out of there in high school. And I think it's just another form of separation. But if I've learned anything from football, it's just like if you got the talent, you'll make it somewhere. Like in like where we are today, like I wholeheartedly believe that.
Interesting.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Because I walked away from watching that documentary and I just felt kind of depressed. Well, it's like, what?
They'll do it. They throw these facts and like they're real, and you're just like, wow, that's awkward.
Yeah, and I felt, and I felt bad for people who like me. I wrestled a little bit, but obviously nowhere near as athletic as you. But I thought, okay, I mean, what if the next generation is missing out on a future Bo Jackson or something because his family can't afford to send him to Wayne Gretzky's hockey camp or O.J. Simpson's football camp or whatever.
Right.
See, and like you're 100% right, but it works twofold, right? Just because I've been in the place and like so after I finished my senior year, I stayed back 6 months and I worked with the coaches on the coaching staff, right? And I basically was a graduate assistant, for lack of better terms. I really, I cut film, crunched numbers, really did whatever they wanted me to. But like, their job as recruiters is to find that guy you're talking about. So it works twofold. Like coaches spend like astronomical amount of time trying to sift through every single person in order to find that person you're talking about. But again, like, it's the pushback. Like if the kid wants to go somewhere, like there's a ton of avenues for them to go get to that position. If you know what I mean?
Okay,
I feel it.
Yeah, that actually makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, did you watch the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I almost boycotted the Pro Bowl because Russell Wilson got snubbed. And I felt that he was just wronged. And I was like, I can't support this anymore. Like, what more do you want from Russell? But then he got there. So I watched part of it. Like, I watched, like the coach for the NFC, Garrett, from the Cowboys, like, he's just stale in his offense, and it just really showed. And you had the dynamic AFC just run circles around him. And I was just sitting there like, this isn't even a game. So I ended up shutting off. But I watched a little bit of it.
Okay. I boycott the Pro Bowl game, man. We've talked about it on here before. I think it would be a better idea to have the two worst teams in the league play instead of the Pro Bowl and play for draft picks.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I like that. That's a little weird.
Pretty much everyone has so far.
I mean,
now. What?
Go ahead.
I mean, now that they've even a real game anymore. Like that would just be more interesting because like there's actually something online. Like the Pro Bowl is literally just a fanfare. Like if you as a fan want to go, it's your best opportunity to meet players. But other than that, like it does nothing for you.
I have zero desire to watch Russell Wilson throw dodgeballs. I want to watch him throw touchdowns. Like.
That's real. As long as he's not getting hurt, let's be honest. Like if he drops back and he's safe, like it doesn't matter. Like you just hold your breath a little bit. You just never know. If someone rolls into him, I'll probably cry.
I feel it. it.
I mean, and that's the thing is, it's a physical sport, and one freak accident and his career could be over.
Look at Alex Smith. Where's he at right now? I mean, he might not even be playing next year.
He might not be playing
better,
ever again. Who knows?
I did see a picture. He did finally. I saw like the first picture of him out in public since. And man, that leg is jacked.
I couldn't imagine.
Devin says, "How about D Ford way off sides again in the Pro Bowl?" Man,
I did see a picture of that too.
Harsh call out.
Yeah, I know. D Ford, literally the most hated person in Kansas City right now.
I know, dude. It would suck to be D Ford in Kansas City.
Man, just as much as I'm sure it sucked being Matt Hasselbeck when he was like, "We're gonna go down there and we're gonna score."
but let's not talk about Matt Hasselbeck. I can't. Like, the man, like, he was just okay. I didn't like his work. I'm against Matt Hasselbeck. I'm super glad we got Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and there was a couple guys in between that, wasn't there? Like Seneca Wallace and
Matt Flynn.
Listen, we call those the lost days. I just
the lost days.
Just blocking those out of my memory. And then we overpaid for Matt Flynn, and I was screaming, "Please don't, please don't."
It's so true.
And everyone's like, no, he had 6 touchdowns for the Packers. I was like, that's not real football. But it's okay, because we got Russell, so we're okay. In Russ we trust.
That's right.
Yep.
In Russ I trust. Super Bowl Sunday. We've already made our picks. I'm taking the Rams still.
I'm taking the Patriots.
Though I think it's going to be a really close game. The Pats could pull it off. I really think that they might pull it off after I've looked at a little bit more stuff, but I'm still sticking with the Rams. I'm sticking with my guns. That's the life that you have to live when Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl. But
the Eagles, or not the Eagles, I'm sorry, the Rams actually have a new quarterback now.
What?
Yeah, it's Fick Knowles.
Oh, God. I like
That's
it.
unreal.
Okay. They should bring in Eli Manning instead.
Yeah, not anymore. He's no longer the Patriot killer.
That's true, though.
He's struggling to get a first down. And
It's true though. It's not wrong.
Yeah,
he's falling off. I feel bad for him because he's really trying. But the Giants kind of deserve it. They should have drafted Sam Darnold and moved off of him. But
I agree. So we're talking Super Bowl. What are your picks?
I've been mulling over this all day. I think it's gonna be an 8-point game. I think the Patriots just end up edging them out. I look at Tom Brady and I look at really Bill Belichick, right? And the question really is, are they gonna get pressure on Tom Brady? Are they gonna get him off his spot? And I don't know, because Joey Bosa was supposed to do it. Dee Ford in the Kansas City defensive line was supposed to do it. And I'm just sitting here wondering, is anybody going to get him off the spot? And I really think that, the game's going to come down to the linebackers trying to guard James White, and I don't think they can do it. I think it's going to be I'll take Patriots 30-22, I think.
Okay, I like it. So, and I talked about this before, I think the best way that you beat the Patriots is you double up on Edelman and you just mirror the guy in the backfield, whether it be, White or Michelle, whoever's in the backfield, you mirror them as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I don't know why guys haven't been doing that yet, but I feel the Rams and Sean McVay can see this, and I'm really holding on tight to this one.
Yeah, and I mean, the Rams they just beat the Chiefs, who had the 31st defense in the league.
The Patriots beat the Chiefs. The Saints.
What?
The
Patriots
Chiefs
did not beat the Saints.
No. I thought you were – no. You said the Rams beat the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Patriots beat the Chiefs,
right,
who had the second worst defense in the league. I think it's going to be a more competitive game because the Rams
defense is better.
Yeah, it's a better defense. But I think what gives it to the Patriots for me is the Patriots defense being able to put pressure on Jared Goff. And what we've all seen Jared Goff does when he gets pressure on him, and he just kind of falls apart.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to confuse him. I think they're just going to try to keep him in a pocket. But anytime you get a quarterback off their spot, they're not the same. And I think I agree with you. I think they're going to send a lot at him. They're going to disguise coverages, and I think you're just going to see him hold on to the ball a little bit longer. But he's dangerous. I really do think he's going to be really good. I was wrong. I was one of the first people when I saw Jared Goff on Hard Knocks. I was like, this kid's gonna be awful. Like, he's gonna choke. He's gonna be Ryan Leaf. And I was the first one out there, and then he really just told me to shut up and get bent, and told me, it's not what's supposed to be. So I agree with you, though. I really think they're gonna get him off his spot. I think he's gonna be uncomfortable, and I think they're gonna come in a lot of different packages.
I like it.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, we've seen Jared Goff for what, 4 years now, or 3 years?
Yeah, I think it's his third year. Yeah, 3 years is third year.
Yeah, okay. So, but we really haven't seen him perform to this level since they got Sean McVay.
That's true.
So I think it's really more of a coaching thing that's led to their success rather than the actual skill level of Jared Goff.
I can see that.
How do you feel about that, Larry? I mean, you've actually, played football.
I think it's a little bit of both, right? Because you didn't have Joe Montana and Steve Young without Bill Walsh. You didn't have Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. You can go. You don't have Sean Payton. You get Drew Brees. I think it's always a both. I think he is a better quarterback than we thought. But again, Sean McVay is he's very smart in the way that they won't do anything crazy, but every time they run it, it just looks different, and they come out in the same thing every time, but he can just do a lot out of it. So you were right, Sean McVay, you can obviously whenever Fisher was there, he was horrible, unreal. And I think Sean McVay is the fourth multiplier where you might have had the pretty good Jared Goff, but now you have the new sensational Jared Goff. I think it's a little bit of both though. I think if Sean McVay takes a four stringer for if he took me as a quarterback, I'm not doing what Jared Goff's doing.
Right. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Well, obviously you have to have some level of some pretty elite skill to even be a quarterback in the NFL, or even a backup quarterback for that matter.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you just have to manage too much. I was just so as a fullback, we met with in the same meeting room as the quarterbacks, and the stuff they have to manage in a game, and we only run the triple option offense. It's not a super sophisticated offense, and they're still managing a ton. What Jared Goff has to manage, moving pieces, different packages, your formation, it's unreal. I'm fascinated by quarterbacks.
That's insane. I didn't even really think about that when you're talking about how, Army running that triple option. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. But that's the difference between me playing a year of football and him being in college.
Yeah.
So, Justin Helwick says, "What's up?"
Yo, the throwback.
He's supposed to be our off-screen guy, but he's been kind of busy lately, so he's just kind of in chat. And he said, "No shout out for me." So, Justin says, "What's up?"
No worry, we didn't forget about you, Jacob.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in person. I'll be back in March, so I definitely want to meet up with you guys in person.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
You are always welcome whenever you want to come and be on. If you want to do this, or we can finally figure out how to do the video chat one day. I thought I had it figured out. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, you're always welcome.
I'm not as tech savvy as I thought.
Right?
Neither are we. Oh, man.
So, this being the Rams and the Patriots, I'm assuming you're a Seahawks fan by the way you're talking about Russell Wilson.
Seahawks fan, 100%.
With this being the Rams and the Patriots, tell me how this Super Bowl really makes you feel deep down.
So this is this is the conundrum, because so we had this talk way back when during college football season with my friends. Obviously I'm an Army fan, but I root for UW outside of it, kind of, not really super intensely, but they were talking about how the SEC, you always want the SEC to win because it makes all of the SEC look better, so you always root for SEC teams. I've never gotten that. I've never rooted for Navy to win. I don't root for Air Force to win. And it's another reason I can't back the Rams, because then they're that much better than the Seahawks. At least now it's a fluke. They got lucky. They caught us after our hot streak. I can make up all these excuses, but if they win the Super Bowl, then like next year you got to hear about it all the time. Every time like NFC West comes up, this is the return. Yeah, it's just, and like I just but like at the same time, Sean McVay is like whenever he talks, whenever like he breaks down plays, like he's so smart, he's so fun to listen to. I just wish he didn't have to coach the Rams.
Right. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So,
I do too.
I'm not
inevitably as a Seahawks fan, you know what the next thing they're going to bring up is, and I'm not going to bring it up, but we all know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, do we have like my friends bring it up all the time, so I think I know where we're going with this because it can only mean we're talking about the Patriots.
Yes,
yes,
that one.
Super Bowl yeah, of course. Okay, how do you describe it? I don't know. See, I'm literally lost for words. I don't know what even to say about it.
I mean, at this point, what more can you say about it? I'm so tired of talking about it and seeing it on every replay. Every time the Seahawks mess up on one thing, it was like 2 seasons in a row. It was like, well, they messed up this time. Let's revisit the last time they messed up. And like, oh, yeah.
And it's like, because like you think about it, right? And you always think about like the dramatic play, like the drive, or like think about the catch, right? When Joe Montana hits Clark in the back of the end zone against the Dallas Cowboys. Like everyone's like, oh, that's amazing. Like that's going to be done forever. But no one ever asked what's it like to be a Cowboys fan when that happens to you. So for like the rest of our lives now, we have to like, the Patriots can be like, oh, remember the pick?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh man, because like we're Seattle fans, so like we are the ones who threw the pick.
Yeah.
It's for the rest of our life. Like,
what? And it's the same thing that we always do to 49ers fans. The tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh man, 49ers, and you make fun of them, and then you come back, and then you're like, oh, that's how you
feel. At least the tip didn't happen in the Super Bowl.
Or
exactly. Yeah.
While I was in the Army, I had my buddy Locke. Him and I, whenever the Packers and the Seahawks played each other, he's a huge Packers fan. Whenever they'd play each other, we were even down range, and we got up at like 2:00 in the morning to watch the Packers and the Seahawks in the NFC Championship. That was one of the craziest things.
Yeah.
And then talking to him about being a Packers fan and watch even the Fail Mary that happened with the Packers.
Yeah.
But he always comes back with, oh, why don't you just flip the coin and tell me heads, we're going to score and we're going to win. So it always comes back to all these little events, man.
And I think that's that's what makes sports interesting.
Yeah, I just don't want to be the one that makes it interesting. But you're right. Like,
that's true.
That's what we want. That's literally what they say. That's why you play the game. You don't just say who's going to win.
Right. And that's why, every time I watch, a game, it's not over until that final whistle blows. Because you never know.
Exactly. You just can't. And, especially now, that's the one thing, too. Like, in a lot of sports, I feel like I watch games. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure who's going to win. Like, in college football, all year, I was like, okay, this is going to be a blowout. And I'm not perfect, but, I pick with pretty good accuracy, what's going to be a blowout. The NFL has, a ton of parity. You never know who's going to win, and I love it about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
We did picks all season, and we were just like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Never. You couldn't have paid me to take that team.
Yeah, right.
I'll still remember my grandpa. This was watching baseball, but we would be watching Mariners games, and he turned it off in the 7th inning, 8th inning. It was like, these bums are gonna lose, and then they won. And we're like, we just missed this great game because you were just like,
grandpa.
Nah.
And that's the fun in it. That's why we do it. But yeah, I just don't want to be the one that makes it interesting, honestly.
So the no call was addressed by Goodell. Did you guys see that?
Really? Was it finally happening?
He finally addressed it. The no call was addressed, and he said,
what did he say? I did not see that.
It was a pretty long press conference, so I didn't write down all of this stuff, but he pretty much was like, the referees aren't robots, and the NFL isn't getting refereed or officiated by robots. We're humans and we make mistakes, but I back the referees because they're the referees. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So he basically was like, "Hey, it happens, guys." Like, and that's what my take was on it when it happened. Is they're human; they make mistakes.
Right. That's what we were talked about last week.
And that's the best way to go about it. To go back on your league, on what you stand for, is just like, that's not going to be a good look. And it, by making that statement, it pulls him out of the, I'm going to control what goes on. Like, as a commissioner, he just worries about having the best product, that it's the most fair. But like, if you start getting too far into the roots of referees, like, that's not his job. That's why he hires someone to be in charge of referees. Like, they made a mistake. Nobody enjoys it, but I'm sure if we watch every single football game, we will see penalties that weren't called. So it's tough. I'm not a New Orleans fan, so I don't know how they feel, but at this point, like, he did everything he could do for that moment.
Yeah, and I don't think there's no point in going back and playing that. You're not in the same mode. You're not in the same mentality. You're not in, like, momentum's not shifted in one way or the other. There's no point in going back and replaying that X amount of time left. There's no point in that. I saw a lot of people talking about that online.
Exactly, and I think like everybody felt wronged, and New Orleans is losing Anthony Davis, and they lost that game. I feel how they're emotional.
Yeah.
But again, you just can't do anything to make that moment better. Like, you are 100% right. If you replay the game, like, it's not the same moment, not in the same mentality. Like, that's the beauty of football, is you have that one moment to make it happen, or you just go home.
Well, and then what are you going to do? So what, every time you don't agree with a call or a bad call is made, then you have to replay, that amount of time or whatever. So you just get a do-over because human error?
Yeah.
You're always going to have human error.
And that's what it comes down to. Like, it's human error, but like, if you at this time say, okay, we're going to redo this, like, what happens when it comes up again? Like, to what extent are we going to replay it, like, downs or games, or come back on the field, play quarters? Like, it's too tough.
Yeah, I mean, I know in the league, I don't know what you want to call it, the rules or constitution or whatever, there is an amendment.
Clause,
there's a clause that says that a game can be replayed, or whatever, it can be redone. But I would imagine that they write that in just to, I mean, I know I keep bringing up baseball, but so if you come up with a situation with like the Black Sox where it's obvious that they were cheating or throwing the game or whatever, you can go back and have a fair game. Not because the referee threw a flag and on this play but didn't on this one that was the same or worse.
Right.
And I think it's for like an egregious, like you said, like an egregious act.
Right. Not for
a missed call. Like, I think they're emotional, but I think in 3 years, like, the further we get away, like, if you're not from New Orleans, you're going to be like, terrible time to miss the call. But again, I'm sure if we went through the game, they missed multiple calls, and it's just football.
Yeah, it happens every game.
And they miss calls on both sides. It's not like, they were just targeting New Orleans or, whatever team.
Yeah, exactly. If New Orleans had 17 penalties and the Rams had 0, okay, we can talk about it. But again, it's just a bad time. It's a very public miss. So
I see somebody, Ryan, in the comments is saying, who are you interviewing? We have Larry Dixon on. We went to school with him, and he was a fullback for the West Point Army Black Knights. And again, we are appreciative of you coming on and talking with us. So thank you for your time.
I'm thankful you guys had me. This is awesome.
So I know you brought up AD, man. That's crazy. You know Anthony Davis? You know who he is?
That sounds familiar.
Do I know who Anthony is?
No. I know you do because you brought it up. But
Oh yeah.
It sounds familiar, but
he's an NBA player, and he actually got fined for how was it worded? Did you see that he got fined for that?
Yeah, for tampering.
So it says that Anthony Davis requested a trade, and he was fined $50,000 for violating rules prohibiting players or their representatives from making public trade demands. So he didn't even go to the front office, and he was just like, I want to be traded. Is that what happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess you're not – if what I think, and don't quote me, I think because he publicly said, I want to be traded, I guess that, like, it ruins their ability to negotiate. Like, I don't really understand. I thought it was a form of tampering, honestly, when I heard about it. Like, I heard he got fined $50,000. But I really feel like they're just trying to drum up some drama because, like I feel like that's, like, free agency is the best thing about the NBA except the finals. So I feel like they're just, like, the NBA is just drumming up drama at this point.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
There you go. Yeah, and Devin just said it. He's like $50,000 out of however much he makes, hundreds. Yeah. I won't say hundreds, but millions of dollars. Like it's like $5 out of my hundreds. So
right.
Again, I don't think they're trying to be serious. Like maybe stop talking, but he wants to leave, and I'm all about players wanting to leave.
All I'm saying is on this matter is if he goes to the Lakers and plays with LeBron, I'm done with the NBA unless it's the finals. Unless the Sonics come back in 2025.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I want the Sonics back.
We all do.
It's tough for me to say anything. This is what I'm going to say. If I could do the thing I love the most in an environment that's better for me to accomplish more, like in my life, like if I want to move jobs, like I'm going to move jobs. So I'm not going to get mad at Anthony Davis for wanting to move jobs. Like I'm all about player mobility. It does make the league a little less fun, and there's some games that are unwatchable. But ultimately, like I support it.
Yeah, and I think it's, for me, I used to really love watching the NBA. I mean, even up to maybe, I want to say 4 years ago, I like the NBA, honestly, more than the NFL at that time. But the last couple of years, especially with the rise of Golden State and this, phenomenon of having multiple, all-star players on one team and not spreading it out like it was
in the 90s.
Yeah, when we were 80s, all of us 70s, growing up. Yeah, throughout the rest of the league. I mean, you can go back to the 30s.
Yeah.
And not see that phenomena happen again. And this just kind of seems, and this is the first time hearing of it, but it seems like more of a play on the NBA's part to keep it in the news and be like, hey, stuff is happening that isn't, just Golden State this and Golden State that.
No, I completely understand. I think people are starting to get worn down by the Warriors. I appreciate the Warriors. Like, I'm not a huge Warriors fan. I really don't follow their games, but I love what they're doing because it's like if you went to the YMCA to play basketball and then you could play with really good players that shared the ball and always seemed to be having a good time, like, you do
absolutely.
it. So, I'm not really a big fan of them. Like, it does make the league boring. Like, I don't watch a ton of basketball like I used to, but I appreciate what they're doing.
And I'm not going to put all of that on the Warriors. I thought, it started with the Heat.
I think so too.
And,
well, actually, you could even bring it back to like the Celtics trying to use it.
With Rondo
and Paul Pierce. But that's those guys aren't the caliber of players.
But the Heat was the most successful at it.
That's true.
And
just take this into account, though.
I'd also like to, before we move on, I just want to get this out because Larry brought it up. I'm also not going to, if this guy, Davis does go to the Lakers, I'm not going to fault him for that, for wanting to be on a good team, the same way I didn't fault Durant for going to Golden State.
I don't fault them for it.
I'm not fault, but, people were always saying, that he's just trying to buy a championship ring or whatever. I think he just wanted to, like you said, those are the best guys. I want to play with them. Why not?
Yeah, and he already said it's not about the money, it's about my legacy. So he's checking another block when he says, like, we don't want our athletes to be only about the money. And he came out and said, I'm not just about the money.
Yeah, he wants to win, and I get that, but take this into consideration when we bring up this point, okay? I don't know where the Rockets are in the standing, but James Harden had a crazy historic month of January. He was averaging 43.6 points per game, the most of any player in the league since Wilt Chamberlain's 45.8 in March of 1963. I don't know where they're at in the standings, but if a guy's playing that high of a caliber and we're still talking about Golden State on an 11-game winning streak and the Rockets are middle of the pack, that's a problem.
So this, I think it's because of this, right? So, like, the last time a player scored 600 points in a month was Michael Jordan in 1987, and they lost in the first round 3-0 to the Celtics. Yeah. So I think although it's lightning in a bottle to watch, but to talk about it, if you look at it, like, he has a usage rate of like 40%, right? And then you look at Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, and they have usage rates around 30%, which means they have way more energy, way more longevity. I think we're just finally realizing, like, James Harden, this was a great accomplishment, but I don't think you're going to have enough in the tank to do anything in the playoffs.
That's fair enough.
Well, I mean, one player doesn't make a team.
But if you look back at it, like, it's obviously it wasn't just MJ. There was Pippen and there was Rodman and Kerr. Like, they all were pieces of the puzzle. Yeah. But it wasn't like
the spotlight wasn't MJ.
It wasn't like it wasn't like, Charles Barkley was the center for Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant was on the same team with these two guys with Michael Jordan. Like, it wasn't like a huge, like, all-star packed team.
Yeah, I mean, it was more like akin to last year's Cavaliers. Not that I want to give LeBron James, credit for anything really, but
he carried that team.
He carried that team, but he didn't get to the finals by himself. They didn't get to the finals because LeBron James is so good. He had people around him who were good, and he had good players around him.
Right.
Like, and he had historically good players, like some well-known names that
probably a little bit past their prime.
Probably past their prime, but I can't recall off the top of my head
I get what you're
the 2018 roster for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Right.
But we looked it up, and there were very good players on that team that were not LeBron James. And that kind of reminded me of the Bulls run where, the spotlight was on MJ, but you also had, the Worm. You also had Scottie Pippen. You also had that Eastern European guy.
Oh, Tony Kukoc?
Kukoc.
Yeah,
Kukoc. And Kerr was playing off the bench. Kerr was playing off the bench that year.
Yeah.
And he was, one of their best three-point shooters.
Mm-hmm.
No. And I definitely get what you're saying, but at the same token, like, I think we put so much pressure and so much emphasis on the championship that people receive that we start, like, now the players are reacting to what we, the fans, want from them. Like think about, like, the LeBron James versus MJ argument, right? The most overt thing is that, like, MJ has 6 rings, no losses, and LeBron James has, I think, 5 5 appearances, 3 rings, or it's like 6 appearances, 3 rings. But they're like, hey, you don't have the rings that he has. So guys are like, well, I need a ring to make my legacy. So they're just trying to do what they think is going to get them there.
So that we're talking about the Steph Currys or the Klay Thompsons or the Kevin Loves.
Yeah, but even with only, I say only, but with 3 rings, I mean, people are still talking about how LeBron James is better than MJ.
Yeah, but
not that I want to have that argument right now, but I mean, he's still relevant.
There's a it's a difference when, okay, we're not having the LeBron Michael Jordan conversation. I'm not doing that. What I'm gonna say is there's a difference between Michael Jordan winning all the rings that he did and LeBron James going to as many finals straight as he has.
Yeah.
Which is why it's comparable.
I can agree with that.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, he won the 3 rings. I mean, what, 1 in Cleveland and 2 in Miami?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can qualify that. I mean, yeah, he had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh with him in Miami.
And Ray Allen saved him.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, we all remember that.
Yo, bring back our Sonics, though.
Man, I don't know. We already agree we're not.
That's all I want.
But it's fine.
I want some. Yo, speaking of the Sonics,
Totally agree, Keegan.
MJ is the GOAT. I like it. Speaking of the Sonics, while we're on the topic of this, I don't want to shift gears on you guys like that.
Just like Tom Brady.
Stop it, bro. Stop it.
I knew he was going to say that.
No, Adam Vinatieri scored more points, and he just signed another year-long contract. Adam Vinatieri's the GOAT.
You need to stop.
All right.
He's a great kicker. That's all I have to say.
I don't want to talk politics, man, but I saw Howard Schultz was talking about running for president. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I saw that.
He released a book after. Yeah, dude, look this up. He released a book after a decade of the Sonics being gone, saying his apology, but you have to pay $20 to read it. I think we need to steer clear of this man as a president and as a person. But, publicly that apology should have been made a decade ago.
Yeah.
And for free, publicly. And all I want to say is that if he does get elected as president, we'll probably get sold to China. The White House is getting relocated.
There shall be riots in the streets.
Boo this man.
Boo.
Yo.
Yeah, better than Feinstein.
Think about it, though. How cool would it be if the Sonics were still around and it was the Thunder as James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant in Sonics uniforms, man?
I think about it constantly, mainly because my friends are reminding me, but I can only imagine. It's not fair, honestly. We waited so patiently for that. Like, we had Rashard Lewis, Ray Allen, and Luke Rittenauer, and they kind of teased us until the Spurs finally put him down for good, and then we just had those lost years again. Matt Hasselbeck. Gosh.
Yo.
The lost years again, yeah.
Rashard Lewis was killing it when he was playing for them. Ray Allen was killing it. Yo, what really drills me is that we saw the very beginning of Kevin Durant.
Yep.
That's what really drills me.
We knew, and as soon as everyone's like, "This is the guy," we're gonna build around him, and then we drafted Russell Westbrook, and everybody's and then they're like, "All right, you guys are gone."
Oh, so bad. So did. What?
It's just sad.
It kills, man. It kills, man.
It's just, I'm still just.
It kills,
God
man.
Damn it.
Did you have anything specific that you wrote down? I know I sent you the list of the topic discussions, but we're kind of bouncing around everywhere. So Did you have anything that wasn't sent to you that you wanted to talk about?
I like lately. I mean, we kind of covered it in the Super Bowl. I've been going real deep on the Super Bowl, and then I started to look a little bit just because college football is coming up, and I'm obsessed. I started looking at the college football, and like, because one of my friends said, "Hey, like I don't watch college football because I'm not from the South, so we're not going to win." And then this year, like the top five, like I think 4 of the top 5 teams are from the South, and so I think it's been very interesting to watch. Like college football is not fun to watch anymore because like the SEC is just dominating it. Like, was it 14 of the last 15 champions have come from the South or below the Mason-Dixon line, or I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's brutal. I can't imagine. Like, I honestly didn't even watch the national championship game this year because I was like,
I didn't either.
Even though I thought Clemson would win, I didn't think it was going to be a blowout. But I'm over it, honestly.
Yo, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. The college football games that I only really pay attention to are the Apple Cup and the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, same here.
Yep.
That's it.
And like that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm just like there's select. Obviously, I'm always going to watch Army play. Like I watch them religiously, so.
Right.
But besides them, like I didn't watch a ton of like college football. There's probably the least amount of college football I've watched, and I'm generally like really into it. But I just felt like I felt like even though there's like some regional powers, or like there's like you had Ohio State, like Notre Dame, and then like I would tell people all year, I was like, listen, like I know Notre Dame's doing good things, but like it's just not the same. And then they went and played Clemson, and then we kind of all saw that it wasn't the same.
Right. Absolutely.
What I do think it's also interesting, going back to the Army-Navy game, that every time that game rolls around, I always hear like from the older guys I know, guys, like my dad's friends and whatnot. I'm just like, that to them, that's the game to watch because that's how college football was for them growing up.
Right.
Run the ball, little short passes, just aggressive football.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. Like people don't like. I mean, they probably realize it, but like Army and Navy, like we run very similar defenses and very similar offenses. And like when we were there, like we'd be practicing for whatever team we're gonna play that week, and then there will be like 2, 3, 4 or 5 minutes, never more than 5 minutes, and they're like, "This is Army-Navy time," and this is like we're just gonna like all year. It's the only thing you
train for
so, like,
against the
there,
Navy.
like, because what's up?
So you train for against the Navy, the like 5 minutes every single time.
Yeah, we literally like, what are they doing? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, the game for us is literally 365 days.
That actually leads right into my next question. It's like how the Army-Navy game is different as a player, and like how, like walking into your first Army-Navy game that you knew you were going to play, did you feel like, I don't want to say more nervous but maybe anxious, I guess is the best word?
I was like shaking. Like I remember, like I would always go out with the returners. I haven't returned a ton of kicks or really any, but I go out. I was like a 4th, 5th string returner, and like I remember that game. Like I was shaking, and I was just like looking around because you don't normally play in NFL stadiums, and we never play in that many people. It's like 80,000 people,
right?
And the game generally gets close to selling out, so like you kind of hear like even the grumblings are loud. And I dropped like 7 balls. I had 2 fumbles and walkthroughs. It's probably among the most nervous I'd ever been, besides my very first like college football game.
Wow. I know. I mean, you're probably by that point. I mean, you're used to playing in front of a lot of people. Is it different as a player? I mean, even guys that didn't go to West Point but were just in the Army having an interest in that game, did that make it that much more like? Did that put that much more pressure on you?
I wouldn't say pressure. Like, when I was there, like, you kind of get hints of the rivalry, but, like, I didn't spend a ton of time. Like, we're on a military base at West Point, but it's a very small base, and it still kind of really just supports the school. It's not an actual Army base, and we don't spend a ton of time around other guys. So it's been more interesting, more fun, even more laughs, like, when, like, Army's just rolling kids now. And then, like, you'll see people take pride in the fact that Army's rolling people. And, like, I think that's the most fun. It's just to see the impact that my, like, guys I know, guys I love, guys I hung out with and played with are literally causing my soldiers to just be like, yo, the Army team's really good right now. Like, and just be excited about it. I think that's been the most fun thing I've seen.
Nice.
So, I got to raise the question because we just had one of the coolest experiences on Sunday. How much do you know about rugby?
Ooh, not a ton. At West Point, we had really good rugby teams with our girls and our men's. And so I went to, like, one rugby game and maybe half, so I vaguely know the rules of rugby. It's fun to watch, and there's some people that really move, and I love contact, so I always pay attention. And I vaguely pay attention to the Seawolves, and I didn't know it was a rematch of the championship, but like I watched like parts of the game, or not watched. I watched highlights of the game, and then like I just kept up. I vaguely know.
Yeah, we So I just want to go ahead and say this. Yep. Don't say that.
No, because then you're just going
Okay. Yeah. So we actually got an opportunity to talk to one of the coaches or managers. I don't know how. Where does he lies as a manager, right?
Well, so the guy that we were talking to, he's a manager. He's very high up in the Saracens, which is Saracens, which is their local like Seattle rugby club, and he's an assistant coach for the Seattle Seawolves.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I sent him an email, and he's actually going to do an interview with us tomorrow. So we went out to the Seawolves game and actually got to talk to him and set up the interview, and we were at the game.
Yep.
So we're gonna start talking some rugby. So I was just curious if you had known anything about rugby, or if you've been to games, or how knowledgeable you were about it.
I'm not. I have friends that play, so I support it. And like I said, I love contact. I can't tell you much about it, honestly. Like as a sport, like I know that we have the Seawolves team, and I know we won a close one, and it was, I guess, not a walk-off penalty kick, but it was a late game penalty kick to send us ahead.
Yeah. Yep. That was one of the coolest things. Man, I'm telling you, that was one of the first experiences that I've had with rugby. Like, I've had friends that played rugby, but I never went to a game, and seen like these pros and how like big and just like the contact that you can hear like from the stands, just these guys without pads, the way that smack happens, man.
Oh yeah.
It got me riled up, dude. I was pumped on it.
No, like, and we've always been close because we had like our defense. So when I say we, I don't mean myself. I don't tackle. But our defense had rugby like players and coaches come out and like teach us how to tackle, because like rugby tackling, I don't know if it's to say it's sure, but it's a reliable way of tackling. So like we had rugby people come out and work with our defense.
So from when
that's something I've seen.
Well, and a lot of times schools will do that because the way in which you tackle in rugby is a little bit different than in football, and because of the lack of headgear and pads in rugby, they've designed kind of a way of tackling that not ensures, but it diminishes head
Concussion
trauma, concussions
protocols and stuff like that
for their players.
Right.
So, they don't walk out, minus a couple chromosomes or something.
But yeah,
and that makes sense. That because they don't wear headgear. Like, I won't say that you use your helmet on purpose, but not having a helmet definitely helps the cause.
They do a method that I was reading called cheek to cheek, where you put the cheek of your face to the cheek of the person you're tackling's butt to try to avoid leading with your head. So
yeah, I would think that's
like.
Go ahead.
And they're really, because they don't have pads, they can't just rely on hitting the person. Like, because in football, you literally just try to hit them as hard as you can until they fall over, and they can't.
Yeah, they don't have that. They don't have that little bit of insurance. They have to be able to protect themselves. And
yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna start. We're over here. We went and got some gear. And, we're going to start covering some Seawolves stuff. So if you're going to be on the show again, man, I definitely encourage you to check out some rugby. And anybody who is watching, I encourage you guys to check out MLR, the Major League Rugby. It's really fun.
And also, I know last year it was kind of hard to find the MLR on TV, but I know there are 4 matches this season that are going to be on CBS, and the rest of them will also be broadcast if you're in the Northwest area or anywhere that gets Root Sports.
Root Sports, yeah.
And also on ESPN Plus. So
I found a couple matches on YouTube, so you don't want to rely on finding the games on YouTube, but
that's another thing that I know with the Team USA Rugby, not a lot of times, but occasionally they'll broadcast their matches on Facebook as well. So if you're interested in rugby, like USA Rugby, and they'll have matches on their Facebook page.
How about MMA? Where are you guys at with MMA?
Oh, over here, I don't watch a ton of MMA. My sister loves it, so whenever I go home, my sister will ask Katie, when it comes to MMA, watch a party. I'm like, okay, cool. So I watch it in that retrospect. But when I was over in Europe, one of my soldiers came in, and he was an MMA fighter, completely amateur, recreationally, wasn't trying to go pro or anything. He just likes hitting people, and as he said, it helps him with his aggression.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. So, literally all the MMA I know literally comes from him. And so, I was only covering, so I didn't even know the other guy. I only knew Bader because, he was talking about Bader because, he's the up-and-coming heavyweight. He was lighter. He was lighter, quicker, hits like a brick. So I literally just remember talking about him months ago, not literally putting it in correlation with this fight that just happened. But so that's pretty much all I know.
The guy that Bader fought, his name's Fedor Emelianenko. And before the last, I'd say 3 or 4 years, the guy had to have been the greatest pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. There's no dispute. He had a 29, I don't know the number, but it was somewhere up in close to the 30s of not being beaten. And it wasn't guys that don't have a background. These are well-decorated guys that this guy is knocking out and putting in arm bars and stuff. And Bader came out and knocked him out in 35 seconds, dude.
Damn.
I saw it was the punch, right? He knocked him out standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I could imagine from what he told me, Bader's the new up and coming, and he just hits like a brick.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we were talking earlier today. I was just getting a little more insight, and we both agreed. So I looked up Bader, and he just looked bigger, out of shape. He just looked bigger, right? And, like, I'm always a proponent of just being smaller, more agile, and having more power at the point of contact. So, like, it makes sense that Bader won. But, again, like, the guy hits like a brick.
Dennis and Devin, you guys go back and forth arguing with each other. And so I try not to, like, read your guys' argument comments aloud. But
It gets a bit much.
Larry is awesome. And we would definitely like to have him on some more. But, I'm always down to read your guys' comments. I just don't want to, stir up some more of the argument of the conversation that you guys are in. Devin, your Patriots better come through. I got cash on them, Dennis says. Man, so is everybody going for the Patriots? Is that what's going on? Man. Yo, I actually saw something that actually brings up some of that topic there. I know we're going to go right back to NFL, unfortunately. I'm trying to diverse our conversation, but check this out, dude. So I read a very interesting stat that Tom Brady, check this out. Tom Brady has had 17 healthy seasons as a starter and has been in the Super Bowl 9 times. The last 6 quarterbacks who have been inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, Kenny Stabler, Warren Moon, Dan Marino, and Steve Young, were starters for all of those teams, and they started for a combined 76 seasons, and all of those guys' Super Bowl starts get together only comes up to 8. How crazy is that?
Wow.
That's insane. Just because, like I said, my friends will tell you, like, I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. Like, not so much a fan of the Patriots, but I appreciate excellence because, like, I want to be excellent whatever I do. So I've just always appreciated his excellence, honestly. And, like, the stats speak for themselves. Like, more than 50%, if you flip a coin, there's a better chance of Tom Brady being in a Super Bowl. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah. No. Isn't that insane?
Dude, that is crazy.
17 seasons starting, 9 Super Bowls.
Is that from Anchorman, where he's like, I don't like you,
but
God damn it, I respect you.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's not even that I really hate Tom Brady. I just don't like seeing the same team in the Super Bowl every single year, which shows you his success. And it frustrates me being a Seahawks fan, especially after that Super Bowl that we're not going to discuss.
After the unmentionable
Super Bowl.
Good.
But you have to actually, like, if you're a real football fan, step back and analyze the fact that he's, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, one of the best.
I think
that's a dynasty.
Oh yeah.
It's anytime he's played football longer than I went to high school, or like I was in K through 12. Like I don't more longer than I've been in school. Like I don't. Sustained excellence is always fascinating, and I appreciate what he did. Like it's insane, and the fact at 40, going on 41, stood in the pocket in that overtime and did what he does in fourth quarters and overtimes, and just did it again. Like I got nothing for him, man. I'm just happy to watch because he's not playing the Seahawks.
Yeah, that and let's not glance past the fact what was he drafted at, like 32nd or something like that? I mean, ridiculously low.
Brady drafted at number 199. I don't know if that is that. It might be 199. That's what Devin's saying.
Oh wow,
that's crazy.
But Devin's right. Boston is title town, and they're spoiled for that.
Absolutely. I mean, it even comes down to their hockey team. The Bruins dominated for so long.
Yep.
The Celtics dominated for so long.
Everywhere but baseball, until recently.
Right?
And now they have the Red Sox doing what they do.
Yeah, I mean, they did go, 87 years in between titles for the Red Sox, so.
It
That's
doesn't count
more than
though,
some
if
people's
you're from a
live.
town that has the Celtics, that has the Bruins. And
Well,
has
yeah,
the
I'm
Patriots.
not disputing the title town part. I'm just saying that.
Well,
Oh, I just meant from sadness. I just want them to be sad when their team loses. They're just never sad.
yeah, okay, fair
They're
enough.
always confident. Yeah, it's the mass hole that comes out.
The masshole. Oh man. So I wanted to cover that game that we went to. If you want to talk about that game,
Yeah.
if you don't mind us talking about that game we went to a little bit.
No, go ahead, man.
All right. So what go ahead and weigh in on your opinion there.
Man, my opinion was this was a great match between two great teams. So last year, the Seattle Seawolves played the Glendale Raptors 3 times, 2 in the regular season. Both of those games, Seawolves lost, and then again in the championship, which the Seawolves won to give them the very first MLR championship.
Yo, have you seen that title that they get, that trophy that they get, that shield? It's like 80 pounds, dude. That thing is freaking huge.
Dude, it's like a no shit, like Knights of Templar shield.
It's crazy.
Like,
yeah, we had the pleasure of going to that home opening match that they did the rematch at, and that match was. I mean, I don't have too much to compare it to because I haven't watched too much rugby, but it seemed like it was a really back and forth game, and it was it was very like sit on the edge of your seat.
yeah, I mean, what they won 20 to 18.
Yeah, it was
Seattle won.
20 to 18. A big night for Brock Stoller with the Seawolves getting the victory in this match. He scored 15 of the Seawolves' 20 points. Glendale scored 18.
I mean, I feel like anytime you hit a 50-yarder in PK and then in the 76th minute they miss one, like, I don't know. It just has to be exciting.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
absolutely. And the PK that he had, that was like what it was like at the 50-yard line or it's not yard lines or whatever it is.
It was at midfield.
It was at midfield, and he just like everyone was silent. It was quiet.
That's the quietest I've ever heard a professional sport.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, I mean, you could hear a pin drop. You heard it. You actually heard his foot hit the ball.
It was insane. What a game. It was awesome. This officially threw me into wanting covering MLR, man. Like, we got to talk way more about it the rest of the season, man.
Yeah, I mean,
What a first game to go to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been to a handful of rugby matches before, and this is Nick's first game, and what an awesome first game to go to. I've seen a couple that were just complete blowouts, but I mean this had 24 lineouts, and there were some penalties and kicking the ball back and forth, and some guys running on both sides of the ball, breaking free and running for some big gains, and some hard-hitting rugby. It was a great game.
6th round, 199, Devin says, in the 2000 draft. Round 6, pick 199. Are the Seawolves IHL? No, it's MLR. Major League Rugby. Chad Pennington was drafted 18th overall. Oh, they rugby. Okay. All right, so I don't know if you guys are watching college basketball, but I love March Madness. You don't watch college basketball?
Everybody loves March Madness.
I love March Madness.
I watch it just enough to know who I'm picking in March Madness.
Right? Okay. All right. I definitely want to talk some bracketology with you when we get a little further into the season.
Yeah.
But the Huskies are killing it right
Absolutely.
now.
I never trust the Pac-12. Like right now,
Right.
I think Arizona State's the only other good team right now in the conference.
And they're playing the Ducks tonight.
I hope to see them get ranked soon, though.
They just played the Ducks. They won.
Yeah, they won against the
61-56.
Ducks. Yeah.
I thought they played tonight.
No. They played. Well, they might be playing tonight. They might play another one. It wouldn't surprise me.
I think they play USC tonight.
Okay.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Okay. And Gonzaga is 6-0. They're leading the West Coast Conference. So that's exciting. Like seeing those Washington teams.
Washington's just the place to be. And we just signed that new recruit, that center. Isaiah, I think his name's Isaiah. Isaiah Stewart. For the
Huskies football?
No, basketball.
Oh, basketball. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know the players' names yet because I just started checking it out. But is he supposed to be like a real like big up and comer?
Yeah, so he'll come next year. He just committed to us.
Okay.
He's like a top 5 player. I think he's like the number 3 center in the nation right now. So that was big for us.
Ooh, okay, that's exciting.
Man, Seattle's always been a basketball city.
It's terrible because it rains outside. People go and play some hoops inside.
And I mean, before basketball starts, I mean, you always hear be like, "Now's your time to buy season tickets for the Red Hawks."
Yeah.
Like, you're advertising on the radio to buy season tickets for a private school?
Yeah.
Really? And not the good private school.
Right. So, did you have anything else that either of you two guys wanted to add? We've hit an hour and 36 minutes now. I'm surprised at how long. Just talking with you, Larry, we just kind of lost track of time here, man.
I'm glad they did that, but no, I think I'm good unless you guys are. But I can do this all night, so you guys just let me know.
I do want to drop one more thing though. Olympic swimmer, local boy, Bremerton, Nathan Adrian, 5-time Olympic gold medalist, was diagnosed with cancer, and I'm hoping a speedy recovery for that guy, man. Really am. I don't like seeing anybody get cancer, but I definitely don't want to see some of the guys that I enjoy watching some sports, especially local boys, getting some bad news like that.
Yeah, the only good news about that I have heard is that apparently the doctors say that they have a pretty good handle on it, and he's hoping to be back and ready to compete in the 2020 Olympics.
Yep.
So I hope he's able to pull that off, man. That's rough.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to be doing closing statements at this point. So we're going to be basically just plugging a bunch of stuff at the end here, Larry. So thanks again for coming on, dude. Anytime you want to do this, just let me know. We'll always more than enough accommodate having you on, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys having me on, and you guys have a good night.
Do you have anything you want to say before you go?
Ooh, let's see. I don't really have anything to plug right now. Hopefully soon. But then my closing statements are going to be Pats over Rams.
Okay.
James Harden wins the MVP,
but
does not get to the finals.
Ooh. Okay.
Kyrie joins AD on the Lakers.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
That's all I got.
All right, man. Larry Dixon, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on. Let me know next time you want to come on. You're always welcome, dude.
All right.
And thank you for your service, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys.
All right, bye. All right, so that was Larry, former fullback for the Army West Point Black Knights. Awesome having him on. That was cool, man.
That was cool.
That was good. And
good guy.
Just no, dude, I always he's a great guy, man. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Do you got anything that you want to plug before I go into this big old spiel?
Nah, man. Just go for it.
All right, so thanks for being a part of the show, guys. We always love having you guys on. Devin, Dennis, Fro. I saw you commenting. Sorry I didn't catch it. Just caught on everybody else's stuff. Larry's sister, I saw you up in here. That was cool. Justin, it's always a pleasure having you here. But, shout out to Justin, our off-screen guy, because he does a lot, and we're where we're at because of the work that he does when he is off-screen doing the sharing of our video as much as possible. So thanks for that, man.
Sorry to hear that.
What did Dennis say? Cancer sucks. I lost my dad to cancer 8 months ago. Dennis, I'm sorry about that, man. I hate hearing that. That grieves me quite a bit. Sorry, a cat just jumped over into my corner peripheral. Larry Dixon, again, thanks for being on the show. I hope you enjoyed yourself, man. And again, if you want to be on the show when you come home on leave or whatever, come visiting family, we are on the show weekly, and we're talking about being on 2 times a week now. So we're talking about having a weekend show. If you guys are down for that, we're talking about doing it on the weekend with like a floating day so that we can just talk about stuff over the weekend and not have to cover as much as we're trying to cover in one day. If you're not watching us live on the Game Changer Sports Network, go to their Facebook, go to their Twitter, go to their Instagram, drop a follow, drop a like. There are partners in this. We're where we're at because of these guys, so big shout out to them. They also have another podcast that goes on monthly for WWE wrestling. If you guys are into that, check out their podcast. It's by Nick and Andrew, and go give them a listen. If you are watching us on the Game Changer Sports Network, follow our page. We're Talk Interference Sports. We're on weekly. I have a YouTube channel. You can find our videos on YouTube. I have an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook page. Go look for Talk Interference Sports everywhere. Go like our social media pages. If you're going to a sporting event or a concert or whatever, go to that SeatGeek.com and use the promo code GCSN and receive $20 off of your purchase. Use that Talk Interference Sports promo code. You get that $20 off.
Save that money.
That's right. Save that money. Shout out Lil Dicky. Get out of here, bro. We want Lil Dicky on here.
We do.
Tabby's Coffee in Everett is a great place to pick up some coffee with an awesome atmosphere and an amazing staff. Go check them out. Tell them Talk Interference Sports sent you, and they will hook you up nicely. We're talking about doing the show 2 times a week. Like I said, just come check it out. And this is episode 22, guys. We've been doing this for 22 weeks now. And we wouldn't be here without you guys.
Absolutely.
Yo, so last thing. We are interviewing, well, I'm going to be interviewing with a little bit of help with Eric, the questions that get brought up. We're interviewing the president of the Seattle Saracens rugby league, or rugby team, and he is a manager on the Seawolves. We're going to be interviewing him and talking to him tomorrow. But I probably won't post it for a couple days. So watch out for that. Thank you, Kevin, for giving us your time. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Go get that veterans discount. Great stuff. Thank you. Hi. I did. I'm glad you liked it. About to FaceTime you. It's my brother's birthday, guys. Happy birthday. I don't have time to talk on the phone. Thanks for talking to Larry. Wish you the best. Yeah, we do wish you the best. Go Stingers. Hey, man, we can talk boxing here soon anytime. Yo, Adrian Broner lost that fight so bad. I'm telling you. Lost it so bad. But I will not be doing that a live interview. I'm going to record it and then post it up. So, guys, thank you. We're Talking Interference Sports.
Yep. See you next week.